So I'm going to stop sharing my sound so that way it doesn't conflict with the audio. And we'll get started. All right. So for tonight's class, we are going to start standing. We don't use this very often as a way to start class. A lot of times we're on the ground. Instead, especially because it's cold like everywhere, right? Let's get the heat moving pretty gently. So take a wide leg stance. And then you're going to turn your toes out. Bend your knees, coming down into horse or goddess pose, this is sometimes called. And so depending on how your hips feel, if this amount of abduction or opening in your hips doesn't feel good for you tonight, then you can always, modify how turned out your toes are. See if you can bend your knees deeply so that you sit pretty far down. And if you're feeling wobbly and you want a little bit of support, you can always take this against a wall and let yourself rest back against the wall. So it's not cheating. Hands down by your side to start. Maybe close your eyes or just bring your lids to a partial close so that your gaze becomes a little bit less focused, more omni, and start to notice your breath. As you inhale, roll your shoulders up to your ears, gather your shoulder blades together on your back. And then as you exhale, let your shoulders drop down. Inhale, bring your shoulders up together on your back. Exhale down. Let your hands just drape down as you do this, keeping your arms fluid, really focusing on the rotation of your shoulders. And then, if your mouth is open, seal your lips gently so that you're breathing into your nose as you inhale, draw your shoulders up, and breathing out through your nose as your shoulder blades drop down. As your shoulder blades drop down, see if maybe you can get a little bit deeper into your horse pose. We won't stay here forever, but we will feel a little burn in our thighs. Pause. Now you're going to switch the rotation. Gather your shoulder blades together on your back. Inhale up. Exhale, let them drop forward. Hands just lay in front of you. And if you're carrying a lot on your plate tonight, instead of exhaling through your nose, maybe open mouth and really let the exhale come out. And let it just drop. Inhale. Open mouth. One more time. Inhale. Your next inhale, start to straighten your legs. Extend your arms up, star pose, and then pivot both of your toes forward. So the sides of your feet are parallel to the sides of your mat. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the outside of your legs. They should be nice and strong. Exhale, fold halfway down. Press your feet into the mat, especially those outside edges, and really see if you can stick your booty back behind you. Gather your navel in so that your core is supporting you. Inhale and exhale. Now release your hands from the side of your legs. Inhale, pull your fingertips forward. So side view, torso is parallel with the ground, and booty sticks back. And then exhale, find a wide leg forward fold. Relax your spine nice and long. Take a deep fold. We'll stay here for a full breath cycle. Exhale. Inhale, toes rotate out, bend your knees. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, horse pose or goddess. So you want your knees to track over your toes. You're opening up, thinking about spinning the inside of your thighs up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sit down. Inhale, straighten your legs, reach your arms up, pivot your toes forward, star. Exhale, hands down the side of your legs, hinge at your hips, lower down halfway. Reach your arms forward, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Relax the top of your head. Take an inhale here. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Bend your knees, toes rotate out. This time, inhale, come up to horse. Exhale, sit your hips down. Inhale, straighten your legs, star pose, rotate toes forward. Hands down the side of your legs. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale, wide leg forward fold. Inhale, rotate your toes out, bend your knees. Exhale, come up, horse pose. Inhale, lengthen, star pose, toes forward. Exhale, fold down halfway. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale, fold down all the way. Inhale, toes forward, knees bend. Exhale, curl your spine up. Inhale, straighten arms up, toes forward. Exhale, fold halfway. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale, fold. We'll go through two more times. Toes out, bend your knees, inhale. Exhale, horse. Inhale, press to star, toes forward. Exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale, fold all the way. Last time through, toes out, bend your knees, inhale. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, straighten, toes forward. Exhale, hands on your legs, halfway. Gaze down, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, fold. This time, hold. In your Prasarita, wide leg, forward fold. Let your head hang down, maybe even shake it a little bit side to side. You can take your hands if you need a little neck traction. Interlace them and bring the pinky edge right to the base of your skull. Wrap your forearms around, capture your earlobes, and then hang down. Press through your feet, especially your heels. See if you can maybe get your legs a little bit straighter. Reach both sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then if your hands are tractioning your neck, release them down. Slowly walk your hands over to the right side, pivot, and then bend your right knee so you come into a nice lunge. Keep that left leg super straight. Reach your gaze forward. Inhale. Exhale, hold. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, bring both hands to the inside. Walk yourself back through middle. Both toes pointing towards the side of your mat. Exhale, fold. Take an inhale. See if you can inflate the bottom of your ribs, so the middle of your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press up halfway. Walk your hands now over to the left side so they frame the left foot, and then bend your left knee. Come into a nice long lunge. Keep your straight back leg really strong. Heel lifted, and then pull your chest forward. Like to maybe even come up on my peace fingers so that you're not letting your entire torso relax onto your front knee. And so this is a strong opening into that psoas. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more inhale and exhale. Bring both hands to the inside of that foot. Walk your way back into Prasarita, or wide leg forward fold. And again, relax your head down. Press through the outside edges of your feet. Take an inhale and exhale. One more time, inhale and exhale. Relax your head. Press into your hands, lift up halfway. And then walk your hands over to whichever side of your mat is going to be the front of your mat tonight. So for me, that's going to be this direction. So you're back in that lunge. Press your hands down into the mat and step that leg back. So you come into a plank position. Hands spread wide, fingers apart. Grip your finger pads down. And then lower your hips down just a little bit. Usually the tendency is to let them come high, but if you're sagging, then maybe lift your hips a little bit. So you feel a straight line from heels angling up to your shoulders. Breath in, breath out. See if you can draw your navel in. So you start to turn on your core and feel the strength that's required here. So right now, we want to bring our awareness to the front of our body, where our core is working. Take one more breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down to your stomach. Bring your forearms out in front of you for Sphinx pose. Again, spread your fingers. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat and then pull your chest through. So right now in Sphinx pose, most likely you've let your stomach relax and you feel a lot of compression and awareness in your low back. So in back bending and chest opening, it's really important to find a balance and an integration all the way around our core. So our warm up tonight, we're gonna start to become a little bit more aware of that in our body. All right, so sitting here in Sphinx pose, or lying rather, I want you to press your hips down, engage your glutes, and notice how your core starts to turn on. Disengage, let your hips relax. And for me, I start to feel more compression in my low back when I completely melt into the mat versus engagement, pressing my hips down, pressing my feet down, and still pulling my chest through. There's more of a lengthening right here at your lumbar spine, or your very bottom, right above your hips. So one more time. Relax your pelvis, let it melt. Keep your shoulder heads up. And now press your feet down, engage your glutes, grip your hands, pull your chest through, but this time with a little bit more core engagement. All right, from here, maybe start to hover your elbows off the mat. Keep pressing your feet down. So you're getting a little bit more of a back bend by pressing your hands towards straight, but hopefully still feeling the support of the front and sides of your body. Exhale, come all the way down back to your forearms. Now drop your gaze down between your thumbs. Tuck your toes. Press your forearms down, engage your core, lift your knees up, coming into forearm plank. So again, we want a straight line from heels to shoulders. So maybe make a micro adjustment as to how high your hips are. Then gaze all the way down your body. You want your feet hip width distance apart. Take an inhale. Gaze down between your forearms. Exhale, drop both heels to the left. Press more through your left hand. Now starting to feel the side body turn on. Inhale, come into center. Raise both heels high. Exhale, drop both heels over to the right. See if you can keep your pelvis in line with your shoulders. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Whew. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. One more time each side. Lots of core work. Inhale. Exhale, drop heels to the left. Inhale. Exhale, drop heels to the right. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, lower your pelvis down. Untuck your toes. Spin your palms into center, elbows out, and then just rest your forehead down onto the back of your palms, the back of your hands. Now allow your entire body to melt down, relax, disengage. Continue to breathe, feeling your belly. As you inhale, press into the mat. And as you exhale, flatten and release. Inhale. And exhale. And put your hands under your shoulders. Tuck your toes. You can keep your knees down on the mat. Inhale, press up, and then press your hips back over your heels. Keep your arms reaching long, maybe even walk them a little bit more forward. Feel the length here in your side body. So as you drop into your physical body, notice how those constant thought patterns start to dissipate, right? Instead, you're focusing on the sensations on the physical exterior sheath. You can let your mind start to relax. Press your toes into the mat, lift your hips up, coming into a bent leg, downward facing dog. Drop your gaze back to your toes. Spread your fingers, press them into the mat, lift your hips a little bit higher. And then exhale, relax your chest. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, slowly make your way to the front of your mat. So I like to think of yoga as a way to really drop into my body and let all of those exterior influences start to melt away. So that way when things become overwhelming, you start to gain a toolbox. And usually that starts with just taking one deep breath. So you inhale, press into your feet, lift up halfway, draw your shoulders up, and then exhale, fold. Stretch your arms out wide. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms overhead. And then exhale, drop your hands down to heart center. Let your thumbs melt onto your sternum. Press your feet down. Draw your shoulders back. And then really feel the strength of a nice stacked spine. Of your legs engaged, your feet pressing down into the mat, the floor, and how that allows you to lengthen. Feel an evenness front to back, side to side. Maybe even bring your hands to your ribs. Take another inhale. Feel an expansion in all directions. And then exhale. Drop your hands down. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold. Tap your fingers down. You're gonna step your left foot back and lower your left knee down to the mat. Now, if you have sensitive knees, you can take that blanket, if you have that as a prop, and set it across the middle of your mat so that you have a little bit of cushion to set your knees down onto. Inhale, bring your arms up. And then we're going to use our hands to be a guide. So you're gonna take one hand and bring your pointer, middle, and ring finger down into your palm. So it's like a hang loose sign. And then with your pinky and thumb, press it into your low back. So I like to do it where it's like the back of my hand is more nestled in. You could also press your knuckles into your low back. So this is the base of your spine, your lumbar spine. All right, come back into your lunge. Right knee coming forward, and then keep that finger and thumb as a guide across your back. Now bring your left hand or whatever hand isn't on your back to your core. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, disengage your core here. So you feel it underneath your hand when it's not working. And notice what that does to the back hand. Immediately, I start to feel a little bit more compression. It's as though my thumb and my pinky finger got a little closer to each other. Now engage your core. Lift up, lift your gaze. Take another inhale. Exhale, release both hands down, tuck your back toes, and step back to plank. Take a breath in. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot forward and lower your right knee down. Press the top of your right foot down. Inhale, reach both arms up. Then again, drop one hand down along your spine. So pinky is down towards the tailbone, thumb is towards the middle of your lumbar spine, and then the front hand comes to your core. Inhale, disengage, get a little sloppy. And now re-engage, press the back foot down. Draw your front knee forward, engage your core, lift your gaze. Take another breath in. Exhale, release both hands to the front of your mat, tuck your toes. Take a big step forward to the front. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Find that balance, front, back, side to side. Exhale, thumbs down to heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Shine your palms forward. And then exhale, goal post your arms, lift your chest. So again, getting into a chest opener, right away I want you to work on engaging your core, balancing it, almost like a corset all the way around the middle of your body. Or one of those crazy ab things from like the 2000s. Electronic shock to get abs, right? That was fun. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold. This time, step your right knee back, right leg back, right knee down to the ground. Press the top of your right foot down. Inhale, sweep both of your arms up. Exhale, bring one hand along your low spine, one hand to your core. Inhale. Now this time, just keep the engagement. Lift your gaze, exhale. Maybe move your gaze up to the ceiling. What I want you to find is that spot where you feel like you're opening your chest, but not compromising in the low back. Keep your core engaged. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, hold. So you're keeping that engagement, this time without the structure of your hands. One more breath in. Exhale, plant your hands down. Now straighten your front leg. This is where you might want 2 blocks. We're going to move into Ardha Hanumanasana and do a little bit of what my friend Carrie calls nerve gliding. So first, start by pulling your toes up, pulling your left femur head back so that your hips stay square and that right hip is stacked directly over your right knee. Inhale. Exhale, come forward, plant your foot down, point your toe on that front leg. Inhale, toes back. Exhale, toes forward. Gaze is down on the floor. Inhale, toes back. Exhale, toes forward. So continue to work with your breath. And what this does is it glides the sheath that comes around your nerves. And in this case, we're focusing on that nerve bundle that comes right out at the base of the spine through the pelvis, sciatic nerve. And just sliding that back and forth. So it comes all the way from the base of the spine down into your toes. And then next time your left foot is planted, toes pointed, bend your left knee. Plant your hands, tuck your back toes, step back, plank, take a breath in. And then exhale, release back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Lower your right knee down. Press the top of your right foot down. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, sink forward. Again, find that engagement in your core. Maybe bring your hands, find that structure, and then move them up. Take a breath in and a breath out. Bring your hands down to that front knee. And then we're going to move into a quad stretch or heel to butt, as it's called in forest yoga. So if you know you can't get that back leg, take your strap or your scarf, loop it around that back foot, and then bring it into your right hand. You'll start to bend the right knee. I want to make sure you're really far forward. So as you bend that knee, you're not pushing weight down directly on your kneecap, but instead you're actually on the head of your quadricep. If you can capture that fit, your hand will go to the outside edge. I like to curl my toes back and then gently bend your right elbow, pulling your heel in closer to your glute. Take your left hand that's still on your left leg. Start to press it into your left leg. Engage your core. And then maybe start to draw your shoulders back. Come a little bit more forward in your left leg. Press into that left foot. Lengthen your spine. Open your chest. One more breath in. And out. Slowly release your left leg down. If you have that strap, just move it off to the side. Both hands come down. And then you'll step forward in front of your mat. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Inhale, reach up, shine your palms forward. Exhale, lift your chest. Core, low back, side bodies are engaged. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Step your right leg back. Lower your right knee down. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, take your low lunge. Keep your front body engaged. One more breath in. And exhale, bring both hands down. Tuck your back toes, step back. Take a breath in. Exhale, press back down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Lower your left knee down. Inhale, sweep both arms up. And then exhale, come into your lunge. So For me, I had my left leg straight the first time we did our Hanumanasana or half splits. So now my right leg is forward. So we're gonna go into the half splits again. Plant both hands down and draw your right hip back. So if you had right leg straight the first time, then just do a little jump hop. Make sure that you're doing the opposite side. All right, peel your right toes back. And then left knee and left hip stack. All right, from here, then you can pull in both blocks on either side of your hips, or your shins rather. Inhale, exhale, point your right toes. Also might feel a nice lengthening across the front of your ankle. Inhale, toes back, and exhale, toes forward. Do that a couple more times. Again, the nerve is just gliding through the sheath. So you can't stretch a nerve, but sometimes that sheath around it can get tight, can get stuck, almost like it's saran wrap. So you work on just unsticking it. Breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And inhale, come forward, plant the right foot down, bend the right knee, and bring both hands onto that front thigh. So again, when we did our quad stretch, heel to glute, for me, that was my right leg. Hopefully for you, the first time was your right leg too. And so now we're going to move on to the left side. So keeping that left knee back, press the top of the left foot down. Now, if you need to, you can take that scarf or strap, lasso the back ankle, and then reach back with your left hand, grab both sides. If you're not using the strap, then start to bend the left knee. You want your lunge to be forward enough that as you bend the knee, then you're moving off of the kneecap and instead onto the quad. Reach back with your left hand, capture your left foot. Press your right hand into your front thigh so that you square your torso forward. Engage your core. And then notice how that starts to give you a little bit more length in your low back. So any sagging or compression there starts to become a little bit relieved. Start to bend your left elbow, bringing your heel in towards your glute. Press your hand into your front thigh to lengthen your spine. Inhale. And then exhale. I like to slightly disengage, like 80% on my exhale. So you can draw my knee forward, pull the heel in towards the glute a little bit more. Inhale, press, fully engage, and exhale. Drop it down to 80%. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly release the left leg down. Plant both hands to frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes and step forward. Uttanasana in front of your mat. Inhale, come all the way up to center. Reach your arms up. Exhale, thumbs come to your heart. Inhale, reach your arms up, shine your palms forward. Exhale, pull your elbow tips down to your sides. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. So we're really loading our classical sons today. This time you're going to bring both hands down, step your left foot back, and lower your left knee down. All right, pause here. Jane, this one's for you. You're going to bring both hands to the inside of your right leg. So your right leg is your front leg. I'm going to pivot so I face you. So both hands are to the inside. And then you're going to curl those front toes up. So you're flexing that foot. Start to tuck your back toes, lift it up, and then drop that front knee out to the side. So this is our nuclear pigeon pose. Palms on the ground, front foot is flexed, and you'll drop out to the outside edge of that right foot. Keep your torso drawing forward so your shoulders stay stacked over your palms. Keep that toe flexed. Inhale. Exhale, maybe bend your elbows a little bit so your torso drops down towards the earth. Inhale, press up. Exhale, bend the elbows and you out. Inhale, press up. Exhale, down. And maybe that leg comes really close. You're gonna hold elbows bent, take a breath in. And take a breath out. Inhale, press up. Plant the right foot all the way onto the mat and lower the left knee down. Inhale, sweep both of your arms up. Exhale, draw your right knee forward. Press down through the back shin. Engage front and back. Support your spine. Lift your gaze. Exhale, plant both hands down. Step back, right foot. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step your left leg forward, lower your right knee down. Press the top of your right foot down. Inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale, draw your left knee forward again. Find that support, like you're putting on that corset or that ab workout thing. And then exhale, plant both hands down. Shift your hips back, Ardha Hanumanasana. That's why this blanket can be really nice just to have across the middle. Toes pull back, inhale. Exhale, press your foot down. Inhale, left toes back. Exhale, forward. One more time, inhale, toes back. Exhale, foot forward, bend your left knee. Come into that nice lunge position. And then start to bend your right knee. Bring both hands up onto your left thigh. Reach back with your right hand, capture your right foot. And then pressing with your left palm, draw your shoulders back towards the front of your mat. Start to pull your heel in towards your glute. Again, you can lasso that foot if it's not accessible. And if you want to take it a little bit deeper this time, move your hand to the inside of your foot. Curl your fingers around your toes, then your palm will come over the top. For me, sometimes, first time I do this, total foot cramp. That's okay, it's natural. Try and press your foot into your palm as much as your palm is pushing against the top of your toes. Engage your core. Press this left hand to straighten your spine. Also like the stretch that this gives across the front of your right shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly release that right foot down. Bring both hands down to the floor. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. Big step forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pull elbow tips down to your side bodies. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back. Lower your right knee down. Bring the left arm, big circle around and plant it to the inside of your left leg. So again, going into that nuclear pigeon pose, super important, pull those left toes back so that you have a nice flexed foot. So that keeps your ankle strong. And we'll start to support up around your knee. Begin to move the weight to the outside edge of that left foot so the inside of that foot starts to lift up, arch towards the ceiling. Then from here, tuck your back toes, those right toes, and lift your right leg. All right, so these are called nuclear pigeon push-ups. Second side, inhale. Exhale, lower down just a little bit. Inhale, press up. Exhale, begin to lower down. So keep that integration in your body. Back leg super straight, front foot flexed. Inhale, press up. Last time, exhale, lower down. Find that spot that is sustainable, yet it is a chore to stay there, right? And then we're going to take one full breath cycle. Inhale through your nose and exhale. Then start to bring the left foot back down, lower the right knee down, press the top of the right foot down. Inhale, sweep both arms up, Untitled this time, keeping the left knee drawing in towards midline. And then exhale, bring both hands down, tuck your back toes, and step back into plank. Take a breath in, exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step the right foot forward, lower the left knee down. Inhale, press both arms up, low lunge. And then exhale, come right back down, straighten the right leg. Last time here, Hanumanasana half splits. Pull the right toes back. And for me, I usually shimmy the left or the front foot forward a little bit so that, again, the hips stay in the same plane. So you can see the back knee and the front hip are lined up. Then supporting on either side, inhale, toes back towards your knee. Exhale, press the front foot forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward, hold. Bend your right knee and bring it forward over your right ankle. Both hands come up onto your right thigh, and then lasso that back leg or start to bend it. Reach back with your left hand and capture your left foot. Use your right hand. Keep that knee now abducting, bringing in towards midline. So nuclear pigeon is out, and then heel to butt, front knee wants to stay in. All right, pull your heel towards your glute, and then if you want to step further, bringing your hand to the inside, fingers around toes. And that's just to get a deeper stretch into your quads. So depending on, how tight your psoas is or your quad, maybe just holding that foot is a deep stretch. Press your right hand into your right leg so that you can lengthen and then slightly press away. Lengthen your spine up. Again, engage your core. Let it support your low back so you're not collapsing, but instead finding some length. Take another breath in. And then exhale. Slowly release your back leg. Bring both hands down. Tuck your back toes. Lift your left knee. Inhale. Exhale. Big step forward. Inhale. Come all the way up. Exhale, thumbs down, heart center. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, fold. Plant both hands and step back with both legs. Coming into a plank pose. Inhale. And then we're going to take the blanket, if it's there, move it off to the side. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. All right, press the tops of your feet down. Move your hands forward and out. So I call this wide arm Cobra pose. And then palms wide, you're going to start to press your hands towards straight. So this is very similar to that Sphinx pose we did at the beginning of class. All right, engage your glutes, pull your heels in towards midline. And then relax. Let your pelvis just kind of melt, and notice again, right away, if you get a different sensation, if you start to feel a compression in your low back. no bueno. So press to your hands, press your pelvis down. Find how that starts to lengthen, and then pull your chest through. So adding the upper spine, the thoracic spine to this back bend. Another breath in. And exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, inhale, press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot forward, and then heel toe it over and across your mat to the right side. Flex that foot back, just like we did in nuclear pigeon, and then lower your left knee down. You're gonna let your heel on that left side come in towards your pelvis. So Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, or one leg pigeon pose, king pigeon. So for this time, instead of going into a sleeping pigeon, we're going to keep it lifted. So finding that integration. First thing I want you to do is flex that foot and really feel the outside edge pushing down. Now, right away, if you want some support, take that pillow or that blanket and support underneath your glute on the left side. So left foot forward, support under that left glute. So optional. And then you're going to start to walk your hands back. Now, right away, you might notice that you feel some compression in your low back. So first thing I want you to do is come forward a little bit, engage your core, and then start to come back. Press down more through your foot, more through this back knee, and your pelvis is going to lift off the ground. Keep flexing that front foot. Either stay here, finding that lift. Hands on your front thigh. You can also put a block on like right at the bottom of the foot to support you. And if you want to go a little bit further, you're going to start to bend the right leg. Reach back with your right hand. Keep your left hand pressing down into your front thigh. Again, notice if you let your torso go, keep that engagement so you're supporting all the way around what's known as your lunar core, like diaphragm down to pelvis. All right. Maybe we'll lift your left arm up. Continue to breathe. Maybe bring your right hand to the inside of your foot. You can let that foot slip up into your elbow crease. And then final step, if you choose to go there, is to interlace your fingers. So anywhere along the way. Breath in, breath out. One more. Breath in, breath out slowly. Unfold, releasing the back leg. Bringing both hands down to the mat. Press into the mat, tuck your back toes, and bring your left leg back. Moving out the blanket if you have that underneath your glute. And then pedal your heels. It might feel really good here to keep your feet really wide and press back. Or you can keep them hip width distance apart. Moving on to the second side. Inhale with your right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot forward. And then heel toe that right foot across your mat behind your left wrist. Flex your toes on the left side, lower your shin down, and then let the heel come in towards your pelvis. So it doesn't have to be flat across the front of your mat. Instead, we want this to be a really nice support underneath our torso so that as we press into that leg, find that lift, we can balance. Okay, and then again, if you were using the blanket, you just plop it underneath as close up to the head of your femur as feels good so that you can get some support. Keep that front foot flexed. Start to walk your hands back. Again, notice if as you came back, your core was not engaged, Come back forward, engage, and then pull yourself up. If you were using a block, bring it towards the bottom of that foot. Again, you can stay right here, pressing that front shin down, keeping that right foot flexed. Lift your torso, find length. You can also do that same trick of bringing the hang loose finger and thumb to your spine, bringing your other hand to your torso. So you're using that almost like a scaffold along your spine to keep yourself lifted. And then either stay here or maybe bend the left leg, reaching back. You can raise the right arm up. Once you no longer have your arms for support, it's really important to press down through that front leg to find that lift and to let that engagement radiate up your spine. Maybe you move the hand to the inside, let your thumbs or let your foot travel to your elbow, and then fingers meet. So anywhere along that spectrum, that path. Take a breath in, breath out. Slowly unwind, lengthening your front leg, bringing both hands down. Press both hands into the mat, move any props out of the way. Lift your back knee and step back. Downward facing dog. Whew. Pedal out both knees. Spread your fingers. Press your hands strongly into the mat. Lift your hips high. And then still your legs. Exhale. Take a deep breath into your nose. Feel your ribs inflate. And exhale. Bring your knees down to the mat. Spin your feet around to one side. We're going to come down onto our back. For this cool down, this is where you're going to want that strap or scarf. So make sure it's nearby. Lower yourself down to the mat. Bring your feet underneath your knees. And then pull your left knee in towards your chest. Roll your ankle around. And then the other direction. And then find your strap or scarf or belt. And you're going to take the middle of that and bring it across the bottom of your foot. Start to press your foot up towards the ceiling, towards straight. And then maybe walk your right foot forward, potentially bringing it straight all the way down to the ground. If this feels like too much, then keep it bent, foot placed down. We want to start by keeping our lifted leg perpendicular to the ground, grabbing both sides of the strap, shoulders stay grounded, and then pull down on the strap so that you are putting pressure and grounding your left femur head all the way into the hip socket. Take an inhale and exhale. Inhale, slightly ease up on the strap. If you'd like to take this a little bit deeper into a hamstring stretch, then gently pull your toes a little bit closer over your head. And if you liked that feeling of grounding, then keep your leg perpendicular. And if your leg's like not even perpendicular, that's totally fine because the strap and pulling against it will still ground your femur head into the hip socket. Slowly ease up again on the strap so that your foot comes in or lines up rather right over your pelvis. And now you're just going to take that foot and bring it over to the right side, just across midline. Take your left hand, bring it to your left hip, dig your thumb into your hip crease and pull it down so that you're keeping your leg ground down. Both sides of the strap are in your right hand, and you're just drawing past midline. So this stretches the outside of the leg. IT band. Inhale, come back to center, bend your left knee, take the strap, release it, and plant your left foot down. Bring your right knee into your chest, interlace your hands, and then gently pull it down and out to the right side. Find some compression to the right ribs. Flex that foot, find your strap, and bring it across the bottom of your right foot. Start to straighten that right leg, one side of the strap in either hand. And then keeping your shoulders on the mat, foot perpendicular to the ground, or maybe not quite. Decide if you're in a lengthen your left leg or keep it bent. Take an inhale, choke up a little bit on the strap. Exhale, pull straight down. So you feel this really nice weight on the right side of your hips. Inhale, maybe ease up, go to 80%. And then exhale, pull down, find that heavy weight. Inhale, ease up. And then exhale, maybe take it into a slightly deeper hamstring stretch. Leaving a gentle bend in that knee so you're not locked out. More breath in and out. And inhale, back up. Take both sides of the strap into your left hand. Right hand will take your thumb and hook it into your hip crease. Now pull that hip crease forward and down. Ground that right hip. Get a good hold on that right hip. Anchor it. And then gently pull your right leg just across midline. Now don't let it go all the way over. Instead, you want to keep that right hip down. Keep the right foot flexed. Feel something all the way along the outside of your right leg, especially maybe around the outside of your knee, where the IT band connects in at the bottom. And inhale, come back up to center. Bend your knee, release the strap, set it down to the side. Plant both feet, and then bring both knees into your chest. And a gentle squeeze, let them come out wide. So you feel compression on the outside of both ribs. See if you can keep your spine supported on the mat. Don't curl up. Inhale. Exhale, pull your knees down. And slowly release. Extend your legs forward to the outside edges of your mat. Unwind your hands, let the back of your hands fall down to the mat, palms up. Exhale all of the air out. Feel your body flatten and melt. Inhale. And exhale. Noticing how much more still the mind is. How much more full and conscious your breaths are. Noticing a little buzz all the way over your body, as though every single piece of your skin was tingling with awareness. A couple more deep breaths here. Feeling that buzzing, that heat, that energy. And slowly pull your knees in, plant your feet down. Drop your knees to one side. Really rolling onto that side and pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Bring your Hands together to heart center. And your thumbs melt onto your sternum. Inhale. And your thumbs up to third eye center in the middle of your forehead. Be curious. Follow your bliss. Namaste.